You guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's T.A.G shit.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.
What it is, what it was, and what it do, T.A.G Nation. Do not avert your eyes. It is two-time, two-belt Scoot. And of course, the forbidden door to my right, Juggs, aka the Juggernaut Show. And we are here to bring to you the supersized edition of NXT.A.G because we got to talk about Stand and Deliver. And we have to talk about the fallout of Stand and Deliver. So first, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So on the countdown show, it kicked off with a big 10-person tag as you had Hank and Tank, newly renamed E.K. Prosper, Ren Sinclair, and Shiloh Hill taking on Birthright, which of course is Lexis King, Charlie Dempsey, Uriah Connor, Stax, and Ariana Grace. This was definitely a pre-show style match. It was nothing that was like, I mean, not saying it was bad, but you could tell it was a pre-show match. I mean, 10 people. Of course, chaos ensues. Not gonna lie, I honestly thought Birthright was going to actually get the win, considering they've been kind of sort of punching bags, but also they've been building them as a stable at the same time. So I really thought Birthright was going to get the W. But I was surprised the other team got the dub.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even check out this match. Like,
it was all right. Like I said, it was a typical pre-show match.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like it looks like a cluster. And you know, I mean, they showed highlights of it later on in the night.
Yeah. So exactly. So they showed highlights. So unless you just really wanted to just see the ins and outs. But yeah. So in case y'all are wondering, if y'all didn't watch, yes, Eli Knight is now E.K. Prosper because Eli Knight is too close to LA Knight, and they can't be having it.
You know, that's LA Knight's brother. Listen, Eli Knight is LA Knight's brother. They're going to become a tag team. You know, that's what they should have done. You know, they should have
made them the Knights.
The Knights,
you know
yes.
It's
exactly.
Knights, but
his long-lost brother.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the show does open up with HBK and Sexy Red pretty much introducing the show. Nothing, you know, too special about that.
You know, I want to say something right now about like all these celebrities that they have. You know, like Jelly Roll, Lil Yachty, and stuff. Like, see, I'm tired of seeing all these celebrities come on their shows and stuff. I mean, yeah, they want to try to get, you know, some of these casual fans like, you know, to get, you know, hyped about this stuff. But it's like, I don't know. It's like there's no need for it every single week and like showing these.
You know what it is, in all honesty, for me, if it wasn't for the fact that WrestleMania has always been built around wrestling meets pop culture, I will 100% agree. But since if you're going back and watching the original Manias up until now, there was always some celebrity aspect. Now, I can say that it feels more shoehorned in. It doesn't feel as natural. You know, it doesn't feel as natural as it did. But if you go back and look, there was always some type of celebrity aspect when it came to Mania season with WWE. So that's the only reason why I don't judge it too harshly. Now, if it was like July and they was doing all this celebrity stuff, I'll be like, what is happening? Like, what is happening?
I guarantee in July or, you know, later on.
I know, right?
Yeah, they'll be definitely doing that.
But since Mania had always had some type of celebrity aspect to it, I'm not necessarily tripping. But
I mean, I don't mind like a few celebrities here and there, but it's like it feels like every single show. Like
I can agree, but you know,
I didn't care for really much about Sexy Red, but I know you're in St. Louis's zone, I guess.
And that's the main reason why. And then, they was even saying it for like one final time type of thing. So I mean, she ain't even really do much. She was literally just there, and she popped up with 1-2 other times during the show. So it was like y'all didn't even have to announce her being there. Like she was gonna be like an integral part of this show, but it's fine. Like she could have literally just appeared and it would have been like, oh shit, Sexy Red is here, but whatever. So the actual Stand and Deliver Pia Elite opens up with the NXT Women's Championship. JC Jane is defending her championship against AAA Mixed Tag Champ Lola Vice and Kendall Gray. This was not a bad match to start the show, and I was actually shocked that this match did start the show.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of wanted this match to main event the show, but I knew that it wouldn't.
I necessarily wouldn't have been mad at that, but considering who was in the main event, but I actually would not have been mad at this. Now, before going into this, I did have my reservations about this match, and the main reason why I have my reservations about this match, because like I've said, you want your top of the top stars for your pretty much WrestleMania, and at the time it was like, damn, they really gonna have JC going against Lola and Kendall? Like, we're really not gonna have Kalani or Jada Parker or anybody like that on the show too? So it was kind of like, but these ladies went out there and did the damn thing.
They really did do their thing.
These ladies went out there and did the damn thing.
I kind of want to say, minus like all the kind of wardrobe stuff that was happening in the match.
Yeah,
man, there was a whole bunch of stuff, that was happening with JCJ in the match. The match was really good.
Which I know that had to suck for JC.
Yeah, I mean, and also I was kind of, I was expecting a title change here, but I wasn't expecting Lola Vice to win the title here. But yeah, go ahead.
I have been anti Kendall Gray since Kendall Gray has been there. I have not seen what made Kendall Gray so special. And it was something that was said to me that it was like, you want to put Kendall Gray in that position because you also want to show the people that that the WWID program and things like that work. So you want to put Kendall Gray in the position. So with that being said, considering I know how much they've been backing her, if I was a betting man, which I was, I just knew Kendall was going to win this championship.
Yeah,
I just knew it.
I really enjoyed this match a lot. Like the transitions that they were doing, like with the double submissions.
Yeah.
And I like seeing how Kendall and Lola Vice, they were going at it. I mean, we saw that match, the previous week on NXT, but yeah, this match, it was so good. And of course, we had who's in Kendall Gray's corner?
Ren.
Ren Sinclair. She got rid of the rest of Fatal Influence. Manage them, and hey, it was really good. And Lola Vice hit her back fist on JC Jane, got the 1, 2, 3, and new NXT Women's Champion Lola Vice. As you can see right there, a great
champ.
Yeah, champ, double champ, yeah.
And I will say this, for a triple threat match, I am not surprised. I am actually surprised it wasn't as much interference as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought there would be more interference.
Like considering there's no DQ or anything like that, I just thought Fatal Influence would have been just all in this match. And then finally, Ren was like, all right, I'm sick of this shit. Let me kind of take y'all out kind of instance. But nah, it was actually, they actually let these three women cook for the most part.
They really did.
So they actually let them cook for the most part. And I was actually pretty surprised at how much, it wasn't so much interferences and things like that, that it was literally like, hey, just let them fight. Let them fight. So, but yeah, Lola Vice is your new champ, and more on Lola Vice later when we discuss NXT tonight. Now, your second match of the evening was Vanity Project's Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor defending their NXT championships against Los Americanos, Bravo, and Rayo. And once again, this was not a bad match, but I'm not the biggest fan of Vanity Project either. So,
see, I'm not a really big fan of either of these teams, really. I think this was, I don't know.
I'm not going to lie. Los Americanos have started to grow on me.
Yeah, I just wish they would go back to be done with this whole Americanos, this Los Americanos.
But you know what it is, though? I mean, you know what sucks? It sucks that Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate are more popular as these characters than they were as themselves.
That's sad.
Like that is wild. Sad. Like that is wild.
Yeah, that's kind of sad to say, but hey, I mean, the gimmick's working for him. I guess, you know, if it keeps working, then keep rolling with it, right?
Yeah. The only thing they honestly really need to do is they need to go ahead and just stop letting Chad Gable stop with this whole OG Americano, because the new Americano and the other two are doing such a good job with the gimmick that you could go ahead and just do what y'all need to do to just stop letting Chad Gable be the other Americano.
Yeah.
So if we're really being fair,
I would 100% agree. You know, I'm surprised I haven't made a match at WrestleMania. You got the OG versus the new Americano.
Well, everybody thought that. Everybody thought that it was going to be the two Americanos in like a mass versus mass match, but
yeah,
nothing came of it yet. So,
but, I mean, we still got another week. They still can make that match, but I don't know.
They could, but I don't know. We already got 13 matches on Mania, and then tonight, well, earlier today, they announced what matches are going to be on day one and what's going to be on day two. And if you're looking at the way it's broken down, there's 7 matches for Saturday and 6 for Sunday. So they could add another match for Sunday, unless they're going to let CM Punk and not CM Punk and unless they're going to let Cody and Randy fight for like forever kind of energy. But they did do a breakdown of what's going down Sunday and what's going down Saturday. So we'll see. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Sunday is Punk and Reigns. So unless they let Punk and Reigns fight for like forever, they may add one more match. So maybe we may get that mass versus mass, but the way I'm looking at it, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but throughout chaos, there was interference from Americano. There was interference from Jackson Drake. Ultimately, it led to Vanity Project holding on to the championships. So,
yeah, I gotta say the beginning of the match was kind of slow, but then
it was
towards the end. It really kicked in the
kicked up,
yeah. But
and now you did bring up a good point. It kicked up at a moment when Baylor and Smokes kind of got beside themselves, and as you saw, Bravo and Rayo tapped into Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. They started doing the bop and bang. They did the Rayo did the bitter end, and it was actually when one of the two Vanity Projects did the finger snap thing. When they did the finger snap thing, that's when Bravo and Rayo kind of was like, "Oh, these motherfuckers want to play." Okay,
yeah.
So I did enjoy the moment.
Look like Pete. That doesn't even look like Pete Dunne anymore. Like he's just so
it really does it.
Got a lot skinnier. Like that doesn't even look like him there. That's crazy.
Hey, so
that's crazy.
But yes, Baylor, Smokes are still your NXT Tag Champs. And the next match was a grudge match, which was one of the matches I was anticipating. Sol Ruka taking on Zarya. And to be fair, I'm not saying I wish this was a stipulation match, because wait till later on, but I feel the match they're gonna have in a couple of weeks maybe outshine this match.
Yeah.
Because to say they're supposed to be the friends turn enemies, they didn't give the friend turn enemy fight. Like, you know, when usually you have quote unquote best friends who are now enemies, they usually have them a good old just fight. And not saying these two ladies didn't, but they didn't give it like I wanted it to.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I felt like there was something missing. Maybe it was a stipulation here. Also, I feel like Zarya should have went over here. I don't know. Zarya.
Thank you.
She just gets the short end of the stick every time.
She really does. And the only reason why I went with Sol was because it was like, I doubt if they let Sol lose on Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
But I do agree that Zarya technically should have went over in this match.
I mean, I remember when Zarya first came into NXT and people were talking about it. People were hyping her up so much, and because like she was in the conversations with Stephanie McCare, who else?
Yeah,
Jordan Grace. You know, she was like in the conversations, like, "Hey, she's gonna be an NXT Women's Champion," and she just kind of like, it's more on the creative end what they've been doing with her.
Absolutely,
like, they can put the title around her, but I don't know, like they choose not to. And Sol Ruka, I love Sol Ruka. I'm a big Sol Ruka fan. I mean, she can come snatch my soul anytime, you know. And no, none of the jail stuff right there. I ain't going to jail. None of that. I'm staying out of jail here. But like,
I'm about to say, because Bravo Americano may have something to say about that.
But no, Sol Ruka. I mean, she's gonna be a big star. I think she
absolutely
this championship. But like the stuff that they were doing this match, that Soul Snatcher on the stage, oh my god!
Yes. Even with that little strip of little carpet, you could still just hear that thud. And it was
these two women, they know each other very well because they spent time tagging with each other, and this feud has kind of been like a slow burn type of feud, with them.
It has been. And also, shout outs to the fact that they let Zarya kick out of a Soul Snatcher.
Yeah, they did another kick out. Yeah. But Soul Ruka won that as well. Which came to be.
But Soul gets a dub. But once again, more on this feud later on when we get to talk about NXT. The next match for the men's North American Championship, you got Miles Bourne defending against Johnny Takeover, aka Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. Now, if y'all been keeping up ever since Tommaso Ciampa left, Johnny has been in this just sad, depressed, don't want to do anything state. This was Candace's last ditch effort to kind of snap Johnny out of it, so that way he can kind of be back to himself. And he won a gauntlet match to challenge Bourne, and here we are. This wasn't a bad match, but this wasn't needed either. Like, it didn't need to be Johnny Gargano. Like, I understand why they did it on a story level wise, and then of course to kind of give Miles Bourne that rub of him taking on Johnny Gargano. It felt like a gimmick. Like, it felt like we're just trying to tug at the NXT heartstrings of, oh snap, we got Johnny wrestling back, and it's like, I guess, but it was not a bad match. Let me say that it was not a bad match. It just felt like a panic button situation, and it was like, okay, I see what y'all did, kind of thing. But
I see what they were trying to do here. We definitely saw Johnny wrestling here. Listen,
Definitely.
he was selling so good for Miles Bourne.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
When Miles Bourne was working on the back and neck of Johnny Gargano, like, oh my god, and the stuff that Miles Bourne was kicking out of, like you had that big spear. What else did he kick out of? He kicked out of
he hit that Widow's Bell. Like he hit I can't remember if he actually hit the one final beat, but I think he did hit the one final beat.
Yeah, he did hit the one final beat. He kicked out of that. Like he was kicking out of Johnny Gargano's all of his big moves.
Yeah, he got out of the Gargano escape.
He got out of the Gargano escape. You know, there was one point where I thought that Miles Bourne might have like I thought he was going to like pass out to it or something. You know, maybe give it to Johnny Gargano. But no, Miles Bourne. Yeah, he ended up hitting the Born Again like a few times in that one where he like sprung into the ring. Yeah, that spot looked nasty, right?
Yeah, when he kind of imitated Johnny Gargano's one final beat, he did his like one final beat version of the Born Again. Then stood Johnny up, hit him with another Born Again, and wow, 1, 2, 3. Miles Bourne retains, and as soon as Miles Bourne could celebrate, Dion Lennox shows up, blasting him in the back with a chair, and was pretty much like, "Yeah, I'm coming for that. I'm coming for that."
Then for that North American Championship.
Then to go ahead and talk about it, there was a segment with Dark State where Saquon was a little upset at Dion for pretty much acting on his own. It was kind of like, hey man, you know, we supposed to be Dark State. We supposed to be moving as a group. You moving as a unit, and you out here kind of doing things on your own and stuff like that, and blah 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 blah. Hurt feelings, you know.
Yeah, you could definitely see there's some cracks starting to form with the whole Dark State. You can definitely
that does not need to be a thing. Yeah. It does not need to be a thing. We do not need to have that as a thing with Dark State, because it would be so. Since Dark State was introduced as this way, it would be different if Dark State was in a position of we knew the four gentlemen before, and then the four kind of just aligned together to create Dark State. But to separate Dark State now, it's going to look awkward because clearly Dion is kind of like the standout of the group. So it'll be wise for them to just keep Dark State as a group.
Even though they lose a lot of their matches, like
now, which is kind of wild to say the impact they was giving them at first, and now it's just like they suffering.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they something with the factions, like with like on NXT. I don't know what it is. Especially
it is a weird thing.
Yeah, it is. Really
it is
weird.
A very unique thing, but yeah. So, and once again, more on that situation a little bit later. Next match for the women's North American Championship, Tatum Paxley is defending against Blake Monroe, even though Blake Monroe had Tatum Paxley's championship. And these ladies went out there and did it. Like, I will probably say between this match or the triple threat, one of these two matches is probably my match of the night, if I'm really being honest with you. Like, yeah. I think Tatum and Blake actually have pretty nice little chemistry with each other.
They did. They had really good chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm surprised that they let Tatum Paxley retain the title.
I'm not, only because Tatum needs a damn win, and not a win in a sense of a W, but in a win of sense of, if you really look at Tatum's whole career, her and Lyra got good. They called Lyra up. Her, Gigi Dolan, and Shotzi got good. They released Gigi and Shotzi. Then when the culling thing happens and she became NXT Women's Champion, the culling betrayed her. So it's like Tatum needed a damn W. Tatum needed a W in life. So I was happy that they let Tatum retain in this match. She needs a W.
Yeah,
and
me
not just
too.
like in a win
like,
column,
I
but
was
just in life.
surprised. Yeah, I was surprised that she kicked out of the glamour shot.
Right.
Kicked out of that. You know, what else do we have in here? I mean, I like that spot from like the top. I think it was Rana that maybe Blake Monroe was trying to go for, and like she does like Tim Paxley does this flip or something.
Yeah,
and like she's like all possessed.
She kind of like hulks up like what, like you thought that was gonna do something to me.
And then also, I like how she was really selling her shoulder. She could like how she kind of like dislocated her shoulder in the match. I like that.
Yes.
And Blake Monroe was just targeting that through the whole match. There's one point where they're just kicking each other's shoulders, like they were just kicking each other's heads. It was crazy.
Now, the one thing that I'm seeing on the internet, and I'm not the biggest fan of, I hate how everybody is pretty much talking about ever since Mariah May went to NXT, she's been a downgrade. And I hate that only because when she got to AEW, they put her in a position that she was attached to the most popular person in AEW.
Timeless Tony Storm.
Then you had her betray the most popular person. And then from that, it had no choice for them to have this big feud.
Yeah.
But we don't know what Mariah's career would have looked like had they not attached her to Tony Storm. And now she's in a system to where she's not technically the only big dog on campus. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, it's gonna look like she's diminished from her AEW run because she was put in a very prominent position damn near from the jump. When you think about AEW, but that's just my 2 cents on that situation. You know,
no, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe she's ready to be called up to the main roster. I don't know.
It's a possibility. But and now time for our main event of the evening for the NXT Championship. Say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry defending against Tony D'Angelo, All Ego Ethan Page, and Absolute Richard Saints. And I appreciate this match. I appreciate what it offered. I appreciate the dynamics of Saints and Ego with the whole they
working together and then
working together, working against each other. And I appreciate Tony D was like, I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I just want this damn title.
Yeah, he was just like coming in and wrecking shop in there, taking off everybody's head. If they were in his way, he was taking them out. That's pretty much. That's what Tony was doing.
The only person who was somewhat safe in this match was the referee. If we're really being fair, the ref was the only person safe when it came to this match. But
I really, this is one of my favorite match stipulations is a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah,
like I love all the dynamics you can get. Like with different.
I'm not mad at it.
Different partnerships you can get. I mean, I expected Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, to eventually cheer on each other. I mean, that's
absolutely. I mean, that happens in every triple threat or fatal 4-way or anything of that nature.
When they go like, oh yeah, we're not going to turn on each other. Yeah, they will. Yes, they will.
They will. They will 1000% will.
Joe Hendry, he was doing this thing out there. Like everybody, I gotta give him props. Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. The closing moments, Tony D speared both Saints and Page through the announce table. Then he got in and he pretty much dispatched Joe Hendry. And 1, 2, 3, and finally, that boy Tony D won the big one. And not only did he win the big one, he is the only man in NXT history to be a Grand Slam champion. Yeah. Johnny Gargano is Triple Crown, but since they introduced the Heritage Cup, we can officially say Tony D has held the Heritage Cup, the tag team titles, the North American title, and now the NXT Championship.
You know, I'm happy for Tony D'Angelo. I'm happy because like he just looks so much different. He looks different than the last time we saw him on TV.
Absolutely.
I mean, his physique, he's gotten a lot stronger. His beard and stuff. He just, like I say, he looks so much different, and he looks like a bigger star now.
You can kind of see that confidence. You can kind of see that change that they needed to make for him to quote unquote go into that next level. If we're really being fair.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And speaking of Tony D, we'll leave this image up because he kicked off the show. He kicked off NXT tonight, and he was pretty much saying that, kind of like what Juggs and I was just saying, nobody was going to get in my way of getting that championship. And he was like, and of course he listed Paige and Saints, and then the moment he listed Joe Hendry, he shows up. Then, of course, Ethan Page shows up, and then Ricky Saints show up because they're all arguing and bickering over, I almost won the title. No, I won the title. Hendry was on if we would have fought one-on-one, would you have beat me? All the typical I lost, so now I got to have reasons to get the title back kind of energy. And before they could really do it, Dark State shows up, and it led to a huge brawl. They fought throughout the commercial break. He had to get security, Stone. He had to get security. He had to get other wrestlers. And then finally, it led to Stone announcing at the top of the hour, it's going to be an 8-man tag. Tony D, Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page taking on Dark State. And that was pretty much how NXT kicked off tonight with that. And then, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. Yeah, you good.
And then our first match of the evening, you had Soul Ruka coming fresh off that win from Stand and Deliver, taking on Izzy Dane. Now, at Stand and Deliver, Izzy Dane pretty much told Soul Ruka, hey, enjoy this dub, because in a couple of days, you and I kind of want the same thing with going after that championship. So I'm going to let you know, it's pretty much Dame time. Ladies and gentlemen, it totally shouldn't have been Dame time if it wasn't for Zarya. At the closing moments, Zarya showed up, speared the shit out of Soul Ruka, threw Soul Ruka. Well, Dame pushed Zarya out the way, gets Soul in the ring, hits her Dame over, and she gets the dub. And it was like, what are we really doing here? It was almost like, what are we really doing here?
Yeah, for real.
And then to be fair, watching this NXT, it didn't even feel like this was like a NXT after a major PLE. Like, it just felt like an episode of NXT. Like, had it not been for the fact of Stand and Deliver, of course, but it just felt like an episode. It didn't feel like it was nothing special about this NXT other than we knew it was the one after Stand and Deliver. And it was like, all right, cool. It was like, all right, I guess. So, But yes, Dame gets the dub, and more on Zarya and Soul later. We do get a segment of Vanity Project talking to Robert Stone, and then Blake Monroe shows up. They gift Blake Monroe her own custom Women's North American Championship, and pretty much Vanity Project is like, you're our forever Women's North American Champion. And Stone was like, that belt really means nothing, but if you want to be back into contention, or if you want another match, kind of energy, we can make that happen. But otherwise, just that means nothing. And then Stone was like, well, how about this, Blake? You choose a member of Vanity Project, and you're going to take on the team of Tatum and Shiloh. So, of course, she chooses Jackson Drake, and more on that later. We do get a segment of EK Prosper Dorian Van Dux, which he is a newest member on Evolve. He did recently wrestle on AAA. I think they said he was from Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
they
you're
also
right.
had Elio LaFleur, and he was pretty much talking about his arm being injured and him having to relinquish the speed championship. And pretty much the tournament starts tonight, and next week we're going to get Prosper versus Van Dux in a speed championship match. And then you had Sean Legacy kind of watching and listening in the back, and it was like interesting.
Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of the speed championship. I mean,
so what I said long ago, and I understand and heard so many people's gripe over the speed championship, but this is the issue I had with the speed championship. They needed to turn the speed championship into a division kind of thing, because if you're just using it as, well, we have nothing to do with these wrestlers, and we're going to put them in this thing to where, hey, it's 3-minute matches. Like, it would be different if it was a division thing and we knew that, okay, we have a speed division match. And
more like, like the Cruiserweight Championship,
Yeah.
Like
if they would have did something like that to where it would have been introduced as a division thing rather than we just
not gonna lie.
I'd
rather see that title come back. Have the Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, I guess the interesting thing about the Speed Championship is, remember, we had Jasper Troy win it, and we damn sure know Jasper Troy ain't a cruiserweight. So, I
mean, you don't technically need to be. I don't know. It's like, how with TNA, we got the X Division Championship. X Division Championship. Meaning like no limits and stuff. Like no weight limits and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could have pulled that. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. Speed Championship. I mean, it's cool in a way, but it's like every single week or every other week, it seems like we're having like a tournament for the championship. And can't they just do some different, like, building this title up in a different way? I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So, but it is what it is. Like, I mean, it's probably going to last maybe another year, if anything. If the Speed Championship makes it to 2027, in all honesty, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, me too. I'll definitely be surprised.
I would be surprised if it actually does make it to next year. I'll be surprised. And then our next match, boy, we got that beefy boy brawl. We got that Haas fight.
We had that meat match.
We had that meat mania. Jasper Troy.
They were slapping meat.
Josh Briggs and Keanu Carver and just a kaiju battle, as once before Corey Graves like to call it. To be fair, I should have thought that this should have been this match, if anything, should have fit on Stand and Deliver, because at least it was a little bit of a story going into it.
This match really should have been on Stand and Deliver. I'm surprised it wasn't.
But this is the thing. This is the thing I'm having with NXT and these three big men in essence. At one point, you were building Josh Briggs to be something, and then all of a sudden that run went cold. You had Jasper Troy brought in. He won LFG season 1. At best, he did win the Speed Championship, but he's been having 50-50 booking. Then you bring up Keanu Carver from Evolve, and he's, the man with an attitude, disrespect everybody, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I get why y'all did it, and I get why y'all doing this, but I don't know. There needs to be some character updates or something. It needs to be something.
And also, Josh Briggs, I feel like he's been out of the picture for quite a while. Like he goes like, "Yeah, I'll be the referee in the match. I'll be the referee for that one match that they had because no referee wanted to be. No, they didn't want to ref the match because he's too big hosses." I don't know. It's just like you said, something with these characters. Like I don't know what it is right now, especially with Josh Briggs. I don't know. It seems
like I said, I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't a bad match. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's just something. It was something. But Keanu Carver does get the dub.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and see, now it's kind of like, what are they building Keanu Carver towards? Like, there was a moment he did stare down Tony D. So are we now putting Keanu Carver on a collision course for the NXT Championship? Because you kind of did the same thing with Jasper Troy, but he lost. So is it going to pretty much be the same thing with Keanu? That I doubt he's about to beat Tony D within like a month. You know what I'm saying?
Keanu Carver, he's still pretty green in my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, even Jasper Troy, you know, he's still.
Yes.
He has been getting better, and then Josh Briggs, he's kind of just there.
He's just kind of there, and I hate that for Josh Briggs. He's just there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, what are y'all doing? Like you're butchering my boy kind of instance. It's like he's just there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Keanu Carver does get the dub in this, and Then we had the impromptu 8-man tag of Tony D, Joe Hendry, Saints, Page, Dark State. This turned into a typical Dark State versus everybody match. Midway through the match, when Dion Lennox was outside, Miles Bourne came out, got his revenge. He took Dion Lennox out the match, and in essence, it turned into a 4-on-3. And then in the process of that 4-on-3, Tony D hits the his finisher, which I totally just forgot the name of it. It's that spine buster, but I forgot what they called it.
Yeah,
but he hits the spine buster.
Mm-hmm.
He hits the spine buster, but at the same time, Page tagged himself in, so he slides in, hits the twisted grin, and he actually gets the dub over Dark State. And it was like sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sneaky there, Ethan Page. And more on that a little bit later. We're gonna wrap all of that up about these things. We had our first speed championship, as Justin I was just talking about. We had our first speed championship match of Lexus King representing Birthright taking on Chaz Starboy Hall. Apparently, he was in the Indies. He recently just came to Evolve, and he's getting his first match on NXT. Because of the parameters of the rules, it sucks that you want us to pay attention to a debuting superstar who we only saw for 2 minutes.
Yeah, for
you
real.
want us to see what Starboy can do, but during the parameters of the speed match, it wasn't so much we can see. So now, in essence, now you're gonna kind of force us to watch Evolve if we want to, see what Starboy can do.
Which not gonna, I kind of want to get into Evolve more because, like,
Me too.
I hear good things about it, but it's like there's just so much wrestling on the week. It's just hard to watch everything.
Yeah, well, I think what's going to mess up Evolve is the fact that it comes on at the same time as
Dynamite,
AEW, and my mind is already programmed to watch AEW. And then not only that, but we're talking about Evolve that's on Tubi. I rarely go to Tubi for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be on my, have the app, but like,
Yeah,
and my
I
God,
rarely go to it.
like, yeah, and then go watch Evolve tonight. Yeah, Evolve's coming on. Like,
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
unless I'm watching it on a religious, watching it on a weekly basis.
Like
It's
if Evolve came on a different, I don't know what else Evolve could have came on, but
Thursdays, I don't even know if Thursday will work.
No,
like
I don't think they
eventually-
want to interfere with TNA.
And then even when football comes back, they're like, I don't know.
So
And then you can't do Fridays. And also, to be honest, listen here. There should be no wrestling on a Friday night, in my opinion. Like,
I'm not necessarily mad at that.
But I don't know. It's like, I don't know. That's for a topic for. I'm going to put a pin in that. I'm going to put a pin in that right now.
Now, to circle back to some things, Miles Bourne was back there talking to Robert Stone, and pretty much Miles Bourne was saying he wants Dion. Well, Stone was reprimanding him for interfering in the match, and Miles was pretty much like, "Yeah, I want to fight Dion," kind of energy, like, Dion wants to do what he did, like, hey, I want to fight Dion. And then Tony D walks up, and Miles leaves, and Tony D was like, hey, you saw that bullshit Ethan Page did. He was like, I'm willing to fight them all, but I want Ethan Page first. And Stone was like, bet. Ethan Page will be your first challenger to your NXT championship. And that's when we see Keanu Carver kind of staring off in the side like, kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get that mixed tag team match, as we mentioned earlier, of Shiloh and Tatum taking on Blake and Jackson. Look here. Everybody knew what was going to happen in this match.
Yep, we all knew.
Everybody knew what was going to happen in this match. Blake had to get the get back somehow, kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? Blake had to kind of get a measure of revenge, but it didn't work the way she thought it was going to work.
No, it really didn't. No,
it didn't work the way she thought it was going to work. So it kind of turned into so we really going all in on the aspect of Tatum just well, as we thought, until boom, headbutt, blow, Blake gets the dub. Because Jackson Drake was useless, let's just face it. He was being the swarmy heel. Blake hits her beauty shot, and glamour shot. So now you had Tatum retain just a few nights ago, to have her lose to Blake tonight, and it was like, this booking is unique.
It's very 50. I wouldn't say it's 50-50 because
it is very 50-50, but it's 50-50 in a way of literally 3 days ago, at the biggest show of the year, Tatum just wins just for her to lose tonight.
Watch her lose.
Now, the reason why we kept putting a pin is because Robert Stone made an announcement. For the next 2 weeks, they're going to do a 2-week show, NXT Revenge. And on NXT Revenge, we're going to get Blake getting her rematch.
It's kind of like their version of Backlash in a way.
Pretty much.
But
it's just
like after.
But it's just TV specials, yeah.
Yes, it's TV specials.
So we're going to get Tatum defending against Blake. We're going to get Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan having a match. They announced that Sol Ruka and Zarya are going to have a last woman standing. Week 1's main event is going to be Tony D defending against Ethan Page. And week 2's main event is going to be Lola Vice defending against JC Jane.
Yep.
So those are matches to expect within the next 2 weeks, because literally we're kind of running it all back, ladies and gentlemen. We're kind of running it all back, So I am thoroughly sure that after these next 2 weeks, there must going to be some call-ups.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There must going to be some call-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Even Robert Stone has said Joe Hendry is supposed to throw a concert to talk about his future in NXT and everything. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely going to be some call-ups happening. So, but the show does end with new NXT Women's Champ Lola Vice coming out there to talk to the fans. And pretty much, of course, she was saying, and this is the one thing about NXT being on regular TV, is that you could tell when they have to fast track some stuff, because that 9 o'clock deadline was coming. So, Lola was trying to get all sentimental and talk about, how she thought she was going to be the big shit when she first got into NXT. And, kind of boy, was she wrong? And then, how she pretty much had to scratch and claw her way, different attempts and all that. And of course, JC and the rest of Fatal Influence had to interfere and come out and was like, hey, I don't care about none of that shit. I want my title back, kind of energy. So, and then it ended with Lola trying to, hit that back fist. And JC was like, you know what? I'm going to leave. But just know, when we had this rematch, I'm getting my belt back so I can be the 3-time women's champ. And that was pretty much NXT. It didn't feel like such a grand show after a major PLE. It just felt like an NXT.
It really did. I definitely agree with that.
And then too, and I'm going to explain more about it Thursday when we talk about WrestleMania and everything. But this show, to me, though it was a good show as far as Stand and Deliver, it was a good PLE overall, but it still didn't give that this is supposed to be our big show of the year. It still didn't give that gravity of that show. Like, it just felt like this is something we got to do kind of energy. So, but yeah, Stand and Deliver, Fallout, you know what I'm saying? Juggs and I, you know what I'm saying? Knock that out for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And what we need for y'all to do is go ahead and like it. Go ahead and share it with your peoples. If you haven't already, subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit that notification bell. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Juggernaut Show. Man's been posting mad content. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Kicking It with Leo as well, because man's been posting mad content. You know what I'm saying? Keep it all going. Keep the just you know what I'm saying? Just keep it all in the ecosystem. Just keep it going.
But yeah, that was Stand and Deliver, and the Fallout Stand and Deliver. Overall, I mean, they definitely stood and they delivered.
Absolutely.
It was good, but to be honest, I think that I'm going to say that Vengeance Day was a better show. That was a better PLE than this one, to be honest, in my personal opinion.
I'm not necessarily mad at that take.
I'm
not 100% mad at that.
Also, maybe it's because they were on like YouTube, and I hated that they were on YouTube, because like I watched it like the next day, and like dealing with all the ads and all that. Like, this is terrible.
Well, you know what? So funny enough, I had went back and watched a few matches again today. I'm pretty sure they not mad with almost 800,000 views on it. So
yeah, no, they ain't mad about
so
it.
I'm pretty sure they're not mad at Stand and Deliver having 800K view, almost 800K views. So yeah, they're gonna definitely feel like they won with that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen of the Tag Nation, until next time, love yourself, love one another, take care of yourself, and take care of one another. Shout outs once again to Lil Dizzle, Jaeger Bombastic, The Forbidden Door, The Juggernaut Show, and Kicking It with Leo. And we're going to go ahead and warm it up for y'all. You know, normally we like to save it for Thursday, but since I got The Forbidden Door here, we're going to warm it up and hit y'all with it. And look, I know you can't see me, but just pretend. We're going to hit you with the bada, 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 bam. And until next time, you beautiful people, do not forget to tag out. Peace.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama